I don't know where I was going with that. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Sam and I make videos about chronic illness, beauty, and whatever I want. Today, I'm going to be talking about the worst 5 palettes I own. I was going to do 10, but I couldn't really choose 10. I don't have that many palettes that I would consider my least favorite. There are some I don't really prefer, but they do have some things in them I really like. These are the 5 that I basically don't touch. They're going to be ranked from like best to least of my least favorites. So it's going to be the ones that I use the most versus the ones I don't touch at all. The first one is the Urban Decay Vice 4 palette. It looks like this. So this palette was a gift. I really liked it because at the time I didn't own anything more than a couple naked palettes. So this was my introduction to color. One of the complaints is like these pans are barely glued in, so I regularly have to push them back when I open this. I don't open this very often because it's kind of a lackluster palette. When I wanted this, I was kind of on that train of Urban Decay is the best brand. They make the best eyeshadow because I was very new to makeup and I truly didn't know any better. Now I don't use Urban Decay that frequently. A couple of my favorite palettes are by them, but I would say most of their releases are kind of misses for me. There are basically 4 mattes in this entire palette, which are these 3 and then this dark brown. And that's not enough for me personally. I like to use mainly mattes and then a shimmer on the lid. I would say with most eye looks I use 3 mattes minimum, so that doesn't work. Also, most of these mattes don't even go with the colors. Like this is a warm tone. It doesn't go with any of the cool tones. It's very orange, so it would only work with like this color. The dark brown, I guess I'd work with a lot of them. These are really chalky and ashy looking. Only about a handful of these shimmers perform how I would like them to. I do reach for this grasshopper shade kind of frequently, but a lot of these are just kind of like meh. So I was pretty disappointed. However, at the time it served its purpose because I was just learning eyeshadow and I didn't want anything too extravagant. It's great for sentimental reasons. I won't ever get rid of any of the makeup that I got when I was starting out because, you know, they were almost all gifts and they just have sentimental value to me. This next one is fairly new. Let me take this package thing out. This is the Morphe 35i Icy Fantasy palette. Morphe is pretty hit or miss, if I'm being honest. Some of their palettes are great, like the Voss Mood palette or the James Charles palette, but this, it was like in the middle, I would say. I don't own any other pastel palettes, so I was really excited to get this. I didn't wait for anyone to do any reviews. I just kind of bought it because it was selling out fast. So I saw it at Ulta and I grabbed it. The matte shades are kind of like meh. They're not bad. They're not the best I've ever used, but they're not bad. My problem with this palette is the shimmer shades. They're more eyeshadow toppers than shimmers, which is fine if that's kind of what you want, but I kind of want my shimmers to be shimmers and not be translucent. Also, there's a pressed glitter in here, which is kind of like a big... So I really only grab this for the mattes and then I try to find a shimmer from a different palette. On my eyes today I'm wearing the Violet Voss Sugar Crystals and the shimmers in this are a lot better than these, so I would probably pair the two together. This was kind of just a mess. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think you can even get it anymore, but I really wouldn't recommend it. Next is the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Blood Lust palette. I have a whole video about this upsetting me, so I won't talk about this too long. I was sold that, or this was sold to me as being a gothic fantasy, but let's Let's be real, this is just kind of an Easter Sunday palette. It's It's very pastel, mainly pastel. I know that pastel goth is a thing, but that's not what we were told it was going to be. There's some new formulas in here that are not good. Like the shimmers. The glitter, when you swipe it, will come off on your hand, but the color stays on your fingers, so you just get glitter everywhere. The mattes were okay. They weren't terrible. I bought this even though I knew I wasn't getting a gothic fantasy, because I kind of had a theory that Jeffree Star was trying to change his formula to see if he could make stuff cheaper and people would still buy it. So it was kind of part of an experiment I was doing, and yeah, there's just something off about it. I've only touched that palette maybe 3 times, and I honestly forget that I have it because it's just that boring. Even when I do a purple look, I don't reach for it because most of them are the same shade of pastel purple. This next one is the Tarte Graveyard Girl Swamp Queen palette. This has a brush in it too, so I've touched this only a couple of times. It was right when I started makeup. I was a huge fan of Bunny, who is Graveyard Girl, and I wanted to support her, and I was wearing a lot of nudes, so I thought this would be great. I haven't used it in so long, I can't truly speak to the quality, but I remember not being impressed. I have not tried any other Tarte eyeshadows because I kind of thought they would all be like this, and I know they're kind of a company where their products are hit and miss. Some of their, what are they, like Bloom palettes, In Bloom palettes, I know those are supposed to be good. I haven't bothered to try them because I have other products that work perfectly fine. I don't regret getting this because it's kind of like a keepsake, but I literally don't touch it, so it was kind of a waste of money. I'm working through using all of my palettes this year, so I will be using it. Maybe I'll feel differently, but no. Number 5, it's actually a little treat because you get 2 palettes for the price of 1. This would be Conspiracy and Mini Controversy. These kind of go as a set to me. That's why I'm doing both of them as my most hated palettes out of everything I own and things that I've tried. Although I haven't tried anything I don't own, so I don't know where I was going with that. These are equally bad in my opinion. If I had to choose one, like gun to my head, choose one to use, I would pick this one. I'll start with this because I hate it the least. This is what it looks like on the inside. I don't know if you can tell, I have touched it a few times, mainly for swatching purposes for a different video I've been working on for a while. I guess this has the best color story. I'm struggling here, but it's not great. I can't use these 3 shades or this shade. They don't show up on me. They're pure chalk, so I imagine anyone with darker skin than me, this is absolute trash. I will say, like, this one doesn't confuse me as much to look at, and I can find inspiration here. I do really like these 2 blues, and this purple is nice. I don't remember how much I like this shade. It doesn't go with anything in here, so I guess it's supposed to go with this purple, but in my mind it doesn't. It's bad. I just don't like it. This definitely was not worth purchasing, not even on sale, not even on clearance. I think this is being discontinued because of all the controversy. Don't buy it. Now to this hot garbage. I hate this palette, like truly do. I think part of why I hate it so much is because I stood in line for way too long for it, like 3 hours. I know, judge me, go ahead, I deserve it. This color story, I don't want to blind you. This color story makes no sense to me. I look at it and it gives me a migraine because I have no idea what's happening. You have, like, this top row, you would think you could use together. However, once you swatch them, they're all different undertones, so they don't actually go together. Like, this is actually more of like a pink than a brown. This is like purpley. This is purpley, so it wouldn't go with these warm browns. There's not really any nudes to work with the shimmers if that was the look you were going for, and then like the mattes that are in here don't actually go well with any of the shimmers, so you're kind of just creating like a muddy, messy look. I blinded you again, I'm sorry. I rant about this constantly. I just get angry looking at it. And I will say, like, the shimmers perform pretty well. I just never think to reach for this because my brain just wants to pretend I don't have it. Because it's so uninspiring. It was a total cash grab. Nobody thought this out. Nobody cared. This was Jeffree Star using Shane Dawson's audience to make money. Shane Dawson using his audience to make money. And Jeffree Star also seeing if he could sell people lower quality stuff that is just like slapped together. And it worked. The one thing I don't really get about either of these palettes is like the name of the palette and then the names of the eyeshadow. So even in Bloodlust, the names were very related to what was inside. Like the names made sense. So this is mini controversy. You would think that the names would kind of be related to controversy, like, but they're not. So you have controversy, my apology, the simulation, canceled, exposed, my boyfriend's purse, cry on my couch, flat earth. Flat earth is a conspiracy, so why is it in the controversy palette? The simulation is also a conspiracy, so why is that in controversy? And then in conspiracy you have like Tanacon, which was a controversy. You have like food videos, pigment, what's the tea, diet cola, cheese dust. This is the Shane Dawson palette. None of these are conspiracy names. So you can tell that, well, they sold it to us as we worked really hard to make this thing you would like. They didn't at all. They just made up names that were related to Shane Dawson, not at all related to the theme of the palette they were selling you. Both of these men just, and again, I fell for it, not making myself like innocent in this whole thing, but like it was a scam, it was a cash grab, and it worked temporarily because like Jeffree Star Cosmetics is clearly not doing well. His sales are in the tank. Shane Dawson is just like dead and gone. His stuff is on clearance. It's just like not working out, but for a while it worked. Jeffree Star figured he could sell people anything, and he got a bunch of new customers from Shane. Shane made his $1 million or whatever, and just toodaloo. But this was so half-assed. I complain about this all the time. Like, I bitch about it all the time. I don't use either of these palettes. It was a waste of 3 hours. It was a waste of my money. Again, there are shades in each palette I like and I should use, and I will be using these this year because that's just kind of my plan, to use the shit I have. But they're trash. Even if you got them half price, no. Like, I wouldn't recommend paying more than like $10 for the big one and like $5 for this. So just don't do it. Okay, well, that was like a fairly short video. Thank you so much for watching. I make videos every Friday, so if you're interested, hit that subscribe button. If you would, please just give this video a thumbs up and comment below what your least favorite palette is that you own, so maybe I'll look into it and I won't buy it in the future. I will see you guys next week.